previous chapter looked at a production system, which doesn't have to mean a factory. Any kind of repeatable process qualifies as production. But what about projects, which are typically unique and not completely understood in advance? We know that project constraints are made up of two things. First, they're logical dependencies. You have to design something before you can build it, and you have to build it before you can test it. Second, there's the question of resource contention. Who's going to work on each stage? What if those people are needed on two parts of the project at the same time? Now you have a resource constraint. Who gets first dibs on the scarce resource? On what basis is that decision made? How could you get another one of those scarce resources? And what difference would it make for the project if you could intelligently resolve that tug of war? The other thing we've got to deal with is uncertainty. In a project environment, you can rarely say that a given task will always take a predetermined amount of time. Sometimes you're going downhill, sometimes you're on the flat, and sometimes it's a rocky road uphill. Depending on which part of the track we're on, it takes different times to cover the same amount of ground. Uncertainty comes in many varieties. There's resource uncertainty. What takes someone 10 minutes might take another an hour. The tasks themselves are likely to have a high level of variation. Some are quick and easy, while some are long and hard. Different vendors will have better or worse performance in their ability to deliver in full and on time. And of course, there's always the customer, so ready, willing, and able to change their requirements at the drop of a hat. These different types of variation lead to all sorts of uncertainty in projects. Let's take a look at what happens when we want to understand a project's scope, cost, and schedule against the timeline. We assume we know what the requirements are for our rocket and have a clear scope. We plan the work and define the project's critical path, the chain of tasks that defines the project's timeline. The red shows the amount of money we're going to burn over the duration of the critical path until we start to make some revenue from selling our rocket. Uncertainty brings delays, and the delays mean we'll have to invest more money than we planned, and we're going to get less revenue than we hoped for. And the losses compound because not only do you get the loss that occurs in the first project, but there's also the opportunity cost of not starting the next idea within your portfolio. The Ensemble way, incorporating the theory of constraints, is all about getting the 25% improvement in the results you saw earlier on. How do we get that much benefit? For sure, we can save costs because we're burning our resource spend for less time by working more productively. But the bigger lever is in the throughput world. Not only can we get to revenue quicker for an individual project, but we're accelerating the opportunity gained from the early release of resources to work on the next big idea, and the one after that, and the one after that. All these benefits stem from the key principles of constraints to which we'll turn our attention next.